Welcome to day 2 of the Black Knight Inspiration Challenge. Firstly, apologies. I think yesterday the whiteboard was back the front, so I changed the setting in it. The challenge is challenging me to step up in technology terms. Second thing I want to mention is just a topic of resistance. So what you can find when we do work on ourselves like this is we just resist it. You know, things come up in our life, there's reasons, there's whatever. This is for us, you know, it's for you each day. It's to learn about yourself, to discover more about what makes you tick. But for whatever reason, you know, we just resist these things. So if you can find yourself resisting, maybe there's a specific topic, one of the days, you just don't want to turn up. Something will happen. So whatever topic that is, that's a topic to write down in your journal and say, that's something I'm resisting. Why is that? You know, because that's when you unpack more about yourself. That's when you learn more about yourself. So just be aware of that. Definitely in all the courses I've done over the years, you know, the ones that I can feel the resistance, there's something there that I'm going, why am I resisting? Why am I resisting finding out about that? Something comes up and there's a reason why. So just bring that into your awareness. Today now, let's move on to today's topic. Today I want to share a topic with you that really changed my life. Okay? And I don't say that easily, but it just radically transformed how I viewed my life and the world around me. And what was that? It was when I found out about my unconscious. So if we take our psychology, okay, as being 100%. Okay, so we have 100% of our psychology. How much do you think of this 100% is unconscious? Yeah. So I would have thought, I would have thought 50-50, maybe 50% unconscious, 50% conscious, which means when I'm making a choice, if I'm making a decision or a choice, 50% of the time it'll be unconscious, 50% of the time would be conscious. That's what I thought. I really, really thought it was 50-50, maybe it's, yeah. All the research, if you look at all the books, 95% of our psychology is unconscious. 95%. I found this out and I was like, what? You're saying to me that I'm 95% unconscious? Like that just does not make any, like really? And to find out that in this unconscious are all the things that drive your life. So any challenges, problems that I had in my life, in midlife, they were all in my unconscious and nobody told me about it. Nobody told me that this is 95% of my psychology. I've been to college, base degree in college. I've been to, I did a master's. I lectured on a master's program. I had no idea that 95% of me that was driving my life was my unconscious. Complete game changer. That only 5%, I was only 5% conscious. Only 5%. And then when I read about it and I read all the research, I went, it makes a lot of sense. Like you're driving to work, you have the radio on, you're unconscious. You're having your breakfast, you're reading the paper, you're brushing your teeth. All these things you just do unconsciously. You're just going through life. People are at their desks, they're on their phones. The more you work it, the more you look at it, it's totally understandable that our lives, a lot of our lives are spent in this unconscious. And as I said yesterday, people say, I don't remember where the last 40, 50 years went, because you're 95% unconscious for that time. So a lot of this work and the work to move from the red knight to the black knight is to become more conscious, to expand this 5% conscious, yeah? To bring what's unconscious, all your patterns and all your doubts and fears and all the uncomfortableness, all the things that are inside your unconscious, make them more conscious. So you're trying to expand become more conscious in the world. Yeah, more present, more conscious in the world. And that's black night. Black night is more conscious. Yeah, more conscious. So this opened up a huge journey for me. You know, probably 20 years ago that I started, I went, this is the deal. You know, I worked in IT, and if there was anything in the organization, a CEO told me, we have problems and the problems are in 95% of the organization, I would go there to find out what's going on. And yet in our lives, if we've got challenges or problems or issues and things, if we know they're in the 95%, that's where we should be going. You know, let's go and find them out. And as men, once we know there's the problem, go and sort it. We can do that, you know, once we know. So for me, it was an absolute game changer. Wow, this 95%. So if you Google the unconscious, the graphic that's shown is normally an iceberg. So they show the tip of the iceberg is the 5% conscious, and then the unconscious is shown under the water as the 95%. You know, that's you just Google it. So you see the scale of what we're looking at here, and that doesn't mean it's not doable. All these, we can go in there. You know, people. You know, it's all being drawn out for us. Our own unconscious will be unique, but you know, the maps are there. That we can journey into our unconscious and find out what's going on and work through it. So it's not as if it's this kind of unknown cave or unknown area under the water. We can go there. So it's an amazing journey to do it as a person. But once I found out that this is what makes me tick. Yeah, this is what drives my life, and the problems I was having were all in my unconscious. It was a no-brainer. I needed to go here. I needed to find this out, and that's part of what I'm going to be covering across the 21 days. So the second thing that I want to talk about is another thing that really changed my understanding of the world, and that is energy. So if we look at much the same kind of rectangle, only 5% of the world is matter. Okay, so in a room, only 5%, you know, the board here, the table, chairs and all, it's 5% of the room. The rest of the room, 95% of the room is energy. In the space between me and it's all energy, and that's where the power is. The power is in the energy, in the space. We know there's not nothing now. Even in a vacuum, it's not nothing. There's loads of things happening in a vacuum. So there's huge power in the space in between the actual objects. So these two things together really transformed my life. I went, hold on a minute. If I can get to understand the 95% unconscious, what makes me tick, the psychology, and I can also understand energy. I can understand what's going on in the energy, yeah, and how to work with that. That's a huge change in how, because I was just in life, going about life, challenges, problems, you know, but really in that red night, you know, just things were happening, you'd work it through, something else had happened, you'd work it through, you're just getting through day by day. So that's really red night. I didn't understand that, hey, I can actually get to know why these challenges are happening, why things move in a certain way. You know, I can get to know all this and I can get to work with this. So, so in the sales literature, I mentioned about moving from Luke Skywalker to Yoda. Now, Luke Skywalker is a real red knight, you know, it's a real, and we love to see it in the movie. We love to see what he's doing, you know, he's slaying all that. That's real red knight, lovely to see it. But he's do. Black Knight is Yoda. And what does that mean? Well, if you look at Yoda understands the psychology and the behavior. So when he's working with somebody, you know, when he's talking to somebody, he's working on that, understands the fears and the doubts and the challenges and how to work them through and how to live with ease about your psychology. You can really feel it. You can feel it in him, you know. It's a real understanding. He's very conscious, very, very conscious, yeah? And understands the dynamics and the mechanics of the unconscious. You just feel it about him. Also, Yoda understands energy, the force, you know? He understands that the world is made up of 95% energy and how we can work with the energy. So he wouldn't spend like 5% objects. You're going to spend time on these 5% objects. Well, you can, but why not spend time with the energy? Yeah. So, you know, there's loads and loads of things that you can do with energy through intention, where you're setting an intention for the day. That's again working with energy. You're putting your consciousness out into the world and saying, I have an intention. I have an intention for my day. I have an intention for this meeting. Yeah. So you're working with energy then. Yeah. You're not just going into the day and saying, well, I've things to do, but things happen, and that's not working the energy. That's just bouncing around within the quantum field. So so that's really, you can see the difference here. Yoda knows the world, you know. He knows that you're dealing with these big 95% blocks, and you need to understand them to be able to be a black knight, to be able to be at peace with what's going on, but then be able to understand the dynamics and how to work with those dynamics. So it's incredible. The world becomes a magical place. You're not at the behest of the world. You're not just like things happen, you know, that's Luke Skywalker. You know, you're getting into a whole new area. That's Black Knight. Whole new area where these are foundations of the world we live in. And I didn't know that. I've been to universities, I was really well educated, but I had no understanding that this was what was going on. So I want to share that with you. What I'm going to give you is I'm going to give you meditation as the action. This is the understanding. I'm going to give you a meditation as the action for today. And the meditation will be for you to meet your unconscious. Okay? So don't worry about the meditation. Guided meditation will bring you through it, but you'll get a chance to meet with your unconscious and see and see what's there. So really delighted to share day 2 with you. Don't forget to email me any questions that you have. And again, if you're experiencing resistance, make sure you journal it, or you can email me about it. Otherwise, ciao for now, and I'll see you tomorrow.